Hey everybody, welcome to Post to Post. It's Neil here, and it's playoff time. Playoffs are upon us. They start tonight, or today, I guess. The first game is, as I'm filming this, in about a half an hour is when it starts. So by the time that you see this, the game will already be underway, and the playoffs will have begun. This is an exciting time of the year for me, but also like kind of an embarrassing time at the same moment. So I've not really watched a lot of hockey this year, basically at all, the entire year. I made a video about it, listing some of the reasons that I don't anymore. I've been busy, and there's other things going on in life that are honestly more important, but that doesn't mean that I've fallen out of love with hockey or, anything like that. I obviously love hockey, and I'm going to be watching the playoffs. It's a really good timing because life is pretty much about to slow down for me right now, so I'm very thankful for that. So I'm going to be able to watch actually quite a bit of playoff hockey, so I'm pretty excited. So in this video, I thought I'd walk through what I want to happen, who I'm cheering for. I'll show you the bracket of what I want to happen, and then my actual bracket of prediction. And I think for the first time, maybe ever, my want bracket is actually pretty close to my prediction bracket. And I mean, my prediction bracket really means nothing because I don't even know what's going on. So it's really kind of a shot in the dark. And at the end, I'm going to look back on the predictions that I made prior to the season beginning and where I predicted the standings to be for every single division and see how well I did. So let's jump into what I actually want to happen. I'll bring the bracket up on the screen here. I'm just using the one that's on NHL.com. If you haven't filled that out, well, you're too late by the time you see this. So anyways, so let's start off in the, I guess, we'll go Pacific Division, or not Pacific, Western Conference rather, and we'll kind of go down the line. So Dallas versus Vegas. Vegas won last year. If you follow me and you know any of my previous opinions on anything, then you know I don't like repeat winners regardless of how much I like the team. So I'd be cheering for Dallas in this series. So I want Dallas to move on. Winnipeg, I would like to see move on over Colorado. Again, Colorado just won recently. I technically like Colorado more than Winnipeg, but Winnipeg is a bit of an underdog here in terms of like broad, maybe not this year, but overall broadly, I kind of consider them to be an underdog. And it'd be nice to see them go far in their Canadian team. So I will be cheering for Winnipeg over Colorado. Vancouver versus Nashville. I will be cheering for Vancouver. I love the fact that Vancouver has done well this year. I'm so excited about it. So yes, I'm definitely cheering for Vancouver over Nashville, even though I'm wearing Nashville here. I wouldn't be too upset if Nashville won. That would be nice to see Nashville go a little bit deep. Okay, so we got the Oilers versus the Kings next. Again, I feel, is this 3 years in a row or 3 out of 4 years or something like that? So yeah, I listen, this is the point of the video with, like, there's a big differentiation in terms of want versus prediction here, because as you'll see in the next bracket, things change in this moment. But I want LA to win here. I will be cheering for LA. I'm just not a huge fan of Edmonton. I wouldn't be that upset if Edmonton won, but yeah, I'd cheer for LA over Edmonton at this point. So that means it's Dallas versus Winnipeg in the next round. I will be cheering for Dallas. I would really like to see Dallas get a cup. So Dallas, in my mind, would move on to the conference finals. And then Vancouver versus LA. I will be cheering for Vancouver very hard there, big time Vancouver. So Vancouver on to the conference finals. That means Dallas versus Vancouver. Difficult one for me because I would really like to see Vancouver go on to the finals, but I will be cheering for Dallas pretty much all the way these entire playoffs. So yeah, Dallas. On the Eastern Conference, or in the Eastern Conference, let's start at the top. So it's Florida versus Tampa Bay. I will be cheering for Florida absolutely over Tampa Bay. Boston versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. This is a toss-up. Honestly, I think I'd be okay with either team winning, but I would likely cheer for Boston over Toronto in this series. But it doesn't really matter. Like, it's a whatever series to me. It's going to be the series that I probably watch the most, but I have no horse in the race. Okay, so the Rangers versus the Washington Capitals. I will be cheering for the Rangers. They haven't won a Stanley Cup since 1994. So yeah, it'd be nice to see them go far. And then the Carolina Hurricanes versus the Islanders. This is tough because I really like both teams. I think the Islanders can be a fun team to watch. Definitely can be a fun team to watch. Not all the time. Same with Carolina. Like that's a nice team to watch. But Carolina continuously lets me down, like every playoff. So they're frustrating me. But I will be cheering for Carolina over the Islanders here in this one. So that means it's Florida versus Boston. I will be cheering for Florida over Boston there. So Florida onto the conference finals. And then the Rangers versus Carolina. Man, I would really like to see the Rangers move on, but I think I have to cheer for Carolina just because I'd like to see them go pretty deep. So Carolina there, again, kind of like Toronto, Boston, I wouldn't be disappointed with any winner. So Florida versus Carolina in the conference finals. I will be cheering for Carolina because I believe that Florida had their chance last year and they didn't get it done. So I have to give Carolina the opportunity to get to the finals and see what they can do, maybe. So that means my finals is going to be Dallas versus Carolina, and I'll be cheering for Dallas over Carolina. I would really like to see Dallas get a cup. So yeah, that's my want bracket. Feel free to disagree. I mean, everyone should be different, really. If we all have the same bracket, it'd be so boring. Now I'm going to go into my prediction bracket, which again, like I said at the beginning, is pretty close, but we'll go through it the same way. So Dallas versus Vegas, I'm predicting that Dallas will win that series. Winnipeg versus Colorado, I'm predicting that Colorado will move past Winnipeg, so that's technically different than my want. Vancouver versus Nashville, I'm predicting that Vancouver will move on. And then Edmonton versus LA, I'm actually predicting Edmonton to move on over LA, which goes against what I want to happen. So Dallas versus Colorado, I'm predicting Dallas to move on. Vancouver versus Edmonton, tough, but I'm going to predict actually Edmonton to move on. I think there's a McDavid effect there, so we'll put Edmonton onto the conference finals. That means we've got Dallas versus Edmonton in the conference finals, so I'm going to predict Dallas. I think this is Dallas's year. Like, this is difficult because I want them to win, but I also think they're going to win. So like at the beginning of the video, I said that this might be the first time ever that that's kind of happened, but that's just the way I feel. I mean, what can I say? It's the way I feel. It's the way I think. So Dallas onto the Stanley Cup Finals. And then the eastern side, we've got Florida versus Tampa Bay. I'm going to predict Florida. We've got Boston versus Toronto. I'll predict Boston. Rangers versus Capitals. I'll predict Rangers for that. And Carolina versus the Islanders. I will predict Carolina there. So I think that's pretty much exactly what I want to happen. And I think the same as my want bracket. Florida versus Boston. I'll predict Florida. Rangers versus Carolina. I'll predict Carolina. Florida versus Carolina, I'll predict Carolina. So the East is exactly the same as what I want, as what I'm predicting. So that leaves Carolina and Dallas into the finals, and I'm going to predict Dallas. So like the finals are exact same in both of my brackets, which is boring. Like I don't make these videos, these prediction videos, to be like controversial or whatever. I'm just like, it is what it is, right? So feel free to disagree. I don't really care. But yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. So we'll see. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy. I mean, my team, the Canadians are out, my team's out, so I'm just going to sit back and really just enjoy some hockey. I'm pretty excited for the playoffs, honestly. Okay, so now I want to look at, sorry, I just need to bring up my document that I made, which is kind of a ridiculous document, but it is what I predicted was going to happen at the beginning of the years in terms of standings, what actually happened, and I've also included what my cats predicted. So if you haven't seen that original video, I laid out a hat for every single NHL team. I put a treat in front of every hat, and then I let one cat at a time. I think Beasley did the Atlantic, Greta did the, I can't remember the divisions. Anyways, I have 3 cats, and one did each division, and then the last division, which was the Pacific, I just let them all go, and I counted them up. So I'm going to compare my cats' predictions versus my predictions and see who came closer. All right, let's go. So the Atlantic Division. So the Cats predicted Ottawa, Detroit, Toronto, Boston, Tampa, Montreal, Buffalo, Florida in that order. I predicted Toronto, Tampa Bay, Florida, Boston, Buffalo, Ottawa, Detroit, and Montreal in that order. And you might be wondering what's going on with the colors and stuff. I'll explain that here in a second. The actual standings for the Atlantic was Florida, Boston, Toronto, Tampa Bay, Detroit, Buffalo, Ottawa, Montreal. Now, if we compare them to what the Cats predicted and what I predicted, the Cats actually got the Toronto Maple Leafs prediction right, and I got the Montreal Canadiens prediction right, which is, so we each got one technical prediction right there. Now, in terms of the colors, I'm going to bring up, I put on what they mean. So green, what I've highlighted in green, is an exact right prediction. So you've predicted the team to the actual spot that they landed in. Purple means that, and it's kind of pink, I mean, whatever, call it what you want, but purple is going to be one off, essentially, from the actual standings. So, for example, and if you look at my column, Buffalo's in 5th. Buffalo actually finished 6th. So you don't get 2 points in green because it's not right, but you're close enough where I felt like, okay, that probably deserves a point. So 2 points for getting it right, 1 point for getting it one off. And then you've got black, which is just like 0. Like you're either 2 off, or it's, it's not a bad prediction, but it's not really a super close prediction. So I just let, black is 0. And then red is -1. So like that's kind of a bad prediction. So for example, I predicted Detroit to be in 7th, but Detroit actually did way better than I thought. And I mean, 5th is still not great, but I did not think that Detroit was going to get 91 points. So I felt like I should give myself a red highlight or kind of a negative one for that, because I really didn't think they were going to do that good. So I didn't feel like it was fair for myself to take a 0 black one on that. On the Cat side, I mean, they predicted Ottawa first. That's clearly a red. Detroit second. That's clearly a red. So as we go through this, you can see my point system here essentially. So at the end, I've calculated the total, and I have 3 points and my Cats have 1 point. So I am technically smarter than my Cats in the Atlantic Division predictions. What does my life come to? Okay, off to the Metro Division. So the Cats predicted Philadelphia, Islanders, Columbus, New Jersey, Pittsburgh, Carolina, Rangers, and Washington in that order. I predicted Carolina, Rangers, New Jersey, Pittsburgh, the Islanders, Washington, Philadelphia, and Columbus in that order. So I was 1 off with Carolina, 1 off with the Rangers, totally wrong, completely wrong on the Devils. Pittsburgh was 1 off, the Islanders, whatever, Washington, whatever, Philadelphia was 1 off, and Columbus I got right. So the standings there were 5 points for me, or the point total is 5 points for me, and -3 or -3 for the Cats. That's not good, Cats. Not good enough. Not good enough. The Central Division's an interesting one. So the Cats predicted Nashville, Dallas, Arizona, Winnipeg, Colorado, Chicago, Minnesota, and St. Louis in that order. Didn't get any spot on. I predicted Dallas, Colorado, Winnipeg, Minnesota, Nashville, St. Louis, Chicago, Arizona. I was pretty much spot on with a lot of these, just 1 off on most of them. I got Dallas exactly right. Minnesota was I could have left it black, honestly, because it's only 2 off, but I really thought that Minnesota would have maybe close to 100 points or more, and I look at Minnesota's actual, it's 87, so that's pretty far off. I didn't feel like it was right for me to get a black there, so I actually gave myself a -1, but I still ended up with 7. Cats were -1. Not good. Okay, on to the Pacific. So the Cats did Calgary, Edmonton, LA, Vegas, Anaheim, Vancouver, San Jose, and Seattle in that order. They got 3 right. They got 2nd, 3rd, and 4th exactly right, which is super impressive. And I predicted LA, Edmonton, Vegas, Seattle, Calgary, Vancouver, Anaheim, and San Jose in that order. I got 4 right in the entire thing, but I got Seattle totally wrong. I was like, if you look at Seattle, and they've got 81 points, they tied for 5th. So technically, I could have almost got a purple there, but I didn't even give myself a black, because when I looked at Seattle at the beginning of the year, I thought they'd be 100 minimum, maybe just over 100, and I see 81 down there, so I didn't really feel like it was fair to give myself a black there. So I gave myself a red. And Vancouver, Vancouver came first, so I'm very far off there. So I gave myself a red. So you can criticize my point system all you want. I mean, it's not perfect, obviously, but I got 7 and the Cats got 3. So I did better than the Cats in every division, thank God. Can you imagine if I had to make this video and say that my Cats predicted more intelligently than I did the standings? And obviously they're just cats that are going after treats, but still it would be pretty embarrassing. So it worked out in my favor. I'm okay with some of my predictions. Some were really bad, like my Vancouver prediction was really bad. Super happy that it was wrong, but it was a bad prediction. Not pleased with my Minnesota prediction either, and New Jersey really let me down. And Detroit impressed me. So I'm kind of happy that I got that one wrong as well. But I'm really frustrated with my Atlantic portion, if I'm being completely honest, because I got the top 4 exactly right, but they're 2 off. Every single team is 2 off. Toronto, I predicted 1st, they came 3rd. Tampa Bay, I predicted 2nd, they came 4th. I predicted Florida 3rd, they came 1st. So like every single one is close, but it's not close enough to give myself a purple. So yeah, there it is. There it is. So my predictions, it's just for fun, right? I mean, it's not serious. It's just all for fun. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know down below in the comment section how your predictions did from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. Did you do better than I did? Let me know down below in the comment section. And who are you cheering for in these playoffs? Who do you want to win the Stanley Cup? Who are you cheering for in every single series? If you want to do your own like little mini bracket down below in the comment section, feel free to. Would love to read your comments and see how you feel. But I'm going to sign off here now. I'm going to go watch some hockey, pretty soon and edit this video while I do it. So hope you're having a great night and a start to the NHL playoffs. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you did enjoy this video, hit the like button. And if you're new, please consider hitting the subscribe button for more hockey talk, definitely more playoff talk, because I'm going to be actually watching hockey now. So I'll be talking about the playoffs and jersey stuff and hockey stuff in general. So we'll see you around. Adios.